Do you ever find yourself gazing at the stars, wondering why the universe feels so silent? It's almost as if there's a question lingering in the air, an unanswered whisper asking, "Why can't I hear the architect of the universe?" You might think, am I not worthy? Am I not doing enough? Or is the universe simply indifferent? Let me take you back to a quiet moment in my life. One evening, I was sitting in my small tea shop after closing. The world outside was bustling, but inside, there was only the hum of silence. I remember feeling a strange mix of peace and frustration. It was one of those days where I had been seeking answers, big, meaningful answers, but none seemed to come. And then it hit me. What if the silence itself is a language? What if, instead of speaking to us in ways we expect, the architect of the universe has been communicating all along in ways we overlook? If you've ever felt lost in this silence, wondering why the answers don't come in words, this video is for you. Together, we'll explore the deeper meaning behind this silence and uncover the profound messages hidden within. My name is Dante, and this is another episode of Inner Guided. 1. The silent language of the universe. How the architect communicates beyond words. Have you ever stopped to notice how the most meaningful moments in life often come without words? Think of a sunset, painting the sky in hues of gold and crimson, or the stillness of a forest after a snowfall, every branch glittering like it's been touched by magic. These are the times when the architect of the universe seems to whisper to our souls, not with sounds, but with feelings, impressions, and wonder. The idea that the universe communicates silently isn't new. Ancient mystics, philosophers, and poets have described it for centuries. They knew what many of us forget. Words are limited. A word can only describe a feeling, but silence can help you feel it. It's in the silence that the depth of a message comes alive. Let me share a story. A friend of mine, Laura, once told me about a time she felt completely abandoned. She had lost her job, was dealing with a breakup, and everything seemed to be falling apart. She prayed, cried, and begged the universe for a sign. Days went by with no clear answer. Then one morning, she stepped outside and noticed a tiny flower blooming in the cracks of the sidewalk. For the first time in weeks, she smiled. That flower, to her, was a reminder of resilience and beauty in unexpected places. It didn't speak to her. It didn't write her a message, but its presence spoke volumes. The silence of the universe isn't emptiness. It's a canvas filled with subtle guidance. We often look for grand gestures, a booming voice, a clear vision, but the architect doesn't always work that way. Instead, the universe asks us to slow down, to notice the details, and to tune into a frequency that's beyond noise. Think about it. The rhythm of your breath, the way the wind brushes against your skin, the patterns of the stars. These are all ways the architect might be trying to get your attention. The challenge is not that the universe isn't speaking. It's that we're often too distracted to listen. If you've been waiting for a sign, maybe it's time to shift your focus. Instead of expecting words, pay attention to the feelings, symbols, and moments of awe in your life. These are the silent messages that guide us if we're willing to receive them. 2. Why you might be missing the signs all around you. Have you ever walked through your day so wrapped up in your thoughts that you barely notice the world around you? Maybe you passed a blooming tree on your way to work, but were too busy scrolling on your phone to look up. Or maybe a stranger's smile tried to reach you, but you were too consumed by worry to smile back. Here's a truth that's hard to accept. The architect of the universe could be speaking to us constantly, but we miss the signs because we're not present enough to see them. Let me tell you about a personal experience. A few years ago, I was feeling stuck in life. My tea shop wasn't doing well. My relationships felt strained, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was failing. Every day, I asked the universe for clarity. What should I do? Where should I go? But it felt like I was met with nothing but silence. One afternoon, I decided to take a walk in the park near my home. I left my phone behind, a rare move for me at the time, and simply wandered. I remember sitting on a bench, watching the world around me. That's when I noticed a group of children playing. One boy fell, scraping his knee. He started to cry, but before long, his friends gathered around him. One handed him a flower, another gave him a pat on the back. Soon enough, he was laughing again, back on his feet. It hit me like a bolt of lightning. Life knocks us down, but healing comes when we allow others and ourselves to show kindness. The universe had been trying to teach me resilience and the importance of community, but I had been too caught up in my own misery to see it. This is the key. We often overlook the signs because they don't fit our expectations. We expect something dramatic, like a billboard with neon letters flashing the answers we crave. But the universe operates subtly through the ordinary moments of life. Think about your daily routine. Is there a pattern in the challenges you face? Do you keep running into the same type of person or situation? These aren't coincidences. They're messages. The architect uses repetition to catch our attention, but we have to be willing to stop and reflect. Sometimes, the signs are emotional. Have you ever felt an inexplicable pull toward a certain decision or person? Or perhaps a deep sense of unease about a choice, even when everything on paper looks perfect? These feelings are a form of guidance, but they're easy to dismiss when we're caught up in logic or fear. To truly receive the universe's messages, we have to learn to slow down, listen, and trust. This means stepping out of autopilot and into mindfulness. Start small. Take a few minutes each day to sit in silence, notice your surroundings, and ask yourself, what am I being shown today? 3. The role of patience and presence in understanding the architect's message. Patience is a virtue we often hear about but rarely practice. In a world of instant messaging and fast results, waiting feels uncomfortable, even wrong. But when it comes to understanding the architect of the universe, patience is not just a virtue, it's essential. Let me explain why. Have you ever planted a seed? You water it, care for the soil, and wait. Days, weeks, even months might pass before you see the first sprout. During that time, it's easy to think nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, there's an entire world of activity. The seed is germinating, roots are forming, and life is preparing to break through. The messages of the universe often work the same way. They don't arrive on our timeline. They arrive when we're ready. The problem is, most of us aren't patient enough to allow this process to unfold. We expect immediate answers, and when they don't come, we assume the silence means we're being ignored. Here's a personal example. A few years ago, I was feeling restless, yearning for a new direction in life. I kept asking the universe for guidance, but nothing seemed to change. Frustrated, I decided to stop asking and focus instead on being present. I started taking daily walks, meditating, and appreciating small things, like the warmth of my morning tea or the laughter of my kids. Months later, out of the blue, an old friend reached out with an opportunity that aligned perfectly with my passions. It wasn't a coincidence. It was a result of giving space for the answer to find me. Looking back, I realized the time I spent in silence and presence was preparing me to recognize the opportunity when it came. Presence plays an equally important role. It's one thing to be patient, but if we're not present, we might miss the message entirely. Think of life as a conversation. If you're distracted while someone is speaking to you, you'll likely miss key details. The universe is no different. Presence means being fully engaged with the moment, not lost in thoughts of the past or worries about the future. It means noticing the subtleties of your environment, the way the light dances through the trees, the rhythm of your breath, or the emotions that surface when you least expect them. Here's a practical tip. Try a mindfulness practice to cultivate presence. Start by setting aside 5 minutes a day to simply observe your surroundings. Resist the urge to label what you see or hear. Just notice. This practice helps quiet the mental chatter that often drowns out the universe's messages. The combination of patience and presence creates a powerful space for understanding. It's like tuning an old radio. If you rush or become distracted, you'll miss the signal. But when you slow down and focus, the static fades and the music comes through. 4. How daily life can be a conversation with the divine. What if every moment of your life, no matter how mundane, was an opportunity to connect with the divine? It might sound far-fetched, but think about this. The architect of the universe doesn't dwell in some distant, unreachable realm. Instead, the divine is present in the rhythm of your daily life. Speaking through the seemingly ordinary, let me share a simple story. One morning, I was making tea in my shop, as I've done thousands of times. My mind was buzzing with tasks, orders to fulfill, bills to pay, and a long to-do list waiting for me. As I poured hot water over the tea leaves, I noticed the leaves swirling in the cup, releasing their color and aroma. For a moment I paused. That swirl, that transformation, felt like a metaphor for life. The heat of challenges, I realized, brings out the essence of who we are, just as hot water reveals the flavor of the tea. That simple act of making tea became a message from the universe, a reminder that growth comes through adversity and patience. It wasn't a loud or dramatic moment, but it stayed with me, shaping how I approach my day. Daily life is full of these moments, but we often miss them because we're rushing or distracted. The divine doesn't just communicate during meditation or prayer. It speaks through the mundane. The smile of a stranger, the lyrics of a song that seems written just for you, or even the way sunlight filters through your window. Think of your routines as rituals. Washing the dishes, for example, might feel like a chore, but it's also a moment to reflect. As the water cleans the plates, imagine it washing away the worries of your day. Or consider your commute to work. Instead of seeing it as wasted time, treat it as an opportunity to observe the world around you. What do you notice? What thoughts surface? One of my favorite practices is to end the day by reflecting on small divine moments. Did someone say something that felt unexpectedly kind or wise? Did nature catch your attention in a way that made you pause? These reflections help you see the thread of the universe weaving through your day. Here's another tip. Start a gratitude journal, but with a twist. Instead of listing what you're thankful for, jot down any moment that felt like a message or a sign, no matter how small. Over time, you'll notice patterns and realize that the divine has been speaking to you all along. The beauty of finding the divine in daily life is that it turns the ordinary into something sacred. It reminds us that we don't have to search far and wide for meaning. It's right here in the present moment, waiting to be noticed. 5. Practical ways to open yourself to the universe's guidance. If you've ever wondered how to tune into the messages of the universe, the process might be simpler than you think. The architect's guidance isn't reserved for mystics or gurus. It's available to anyone willing to slow down, pay attention, and open their heart. The first step is cultivating stillness in your life. In a world filled with constant noise, it's easy to miss the whispers of the divine. Taking just a few moments each day to sit quietly, close your eyes, and breathe deeply can create space for those whispers to be heard. It's not about forcing answers. It's about allowing them to surface naturally. Being present is another key element. So much of life passes us by because we're too busy or distracted to notice its subtle messages. Have you ever had a conversation where someone said something that lingered with you, as if it was meant to be heard? Or maybe you've seen a repeated symbol, a bird, a number, or a phrase that seemed to appear just when you needed it. These are not mere coincidences. They are nudges from the universe. To notice them, you must actively engage with your surroundings. Pay attention to what catches your eye or stirs your emotions. Trusting your intuition is also crucial. Often, the answers we seek come as a quiet, inner knowing, a feeling that defies logic but feels undeniably right. Think of a time when you made a choice that didn't make sense to others but felt aligned for you. That's the architect guiding you through your inner compass. Learning to trust these feelings requires practice, but the more you do, the clearer the guidance becomes. One of the most accessible ways to deepen your connection with the divine is by journaling. Writing down your thoughts, questions, and experiences can turn your journal into a two-way dialogue with the universe. Start by writing a question, something that's been on your mind, and let the words flow without judgment. You might find unexpected insights emerging from this practice. Nature is another powerful channel for divine communication. The cycles of the natural world mirror the cycles within us, offering wisdom and perspective. Take a walk in the park, sit under a tree, or simply watch the clouds drift. Notice how life moves with ease and rhythm, and consider what that rhythm might be teaching you. Finally, it's important to approach this journey with a sense of curiosity and trust. Instead of demanding immediate answers, allow yourself to explore and wonder. Set an intention each day to remain open to guidance, then release the need to control when or how it comes. The universe often works in subtle, surprising ways, and its timing is always perfect. Spirituality is not a one-size-fits-all journey. It's deeply personal, shaped by your experiences, beliefs, and the ways you interact with the world. If it sometimes feels like spirituality isn't working for you, it's worth asking, what am I expecting from it? The answers we seek don't always come in the ways we imagine. They might not arrive as dramatic breakthroughs or sudden clarity, but rather as gentle shifts, a sense of peace in the chaos, or a new way of seeing an old problem. Remember, the journey itself is often the reward. The moments of silence, frustration, or uncertainty are just as much a part of the process as the moments of connection and insight. They teach us patience, resilience, and the value of trust. Spirituality isn't about perfection or instant answers. It's about learning to align with the rhythm of the universe, one step at a time. If you've enjoyed this reflection, you might find great value in our next video. Why does spirituality seem to not work for you? It's a deep dive into understanding the blocks we often encounter on our spiritual paths and how to overcome them. Sometimes, the struggle itself is the message, and recognizing this can open up new possibilities for growth and connection.